So really, though, I really kind of want to cover about what we think might happen in this next turn because, I mean, Outplayed versus Fun is a little bit less. I mean, Fun has really kind of literally clawed their way to the top, is how I like to
Yeah,
see it. And
absolutely.
the fact that, you asked Road the question, I believe it was you, maybe somebody else. Somebody asked Road the question, uh, who he thought would be the most likely team to beat Voltaic Gaming, right? Do you remember when that happened? It may have
I
been.
got to be honest, I do not.
Yeah, okay. So at some point, somebody got Road to answer in an
Okay.
interview that he thought Voltaic Gaming was the most likely team to beat Outplayed. Well, now we've got this situation to where Voltaic Gaming's been beat by Fun, who Outplayed is about to go up against. And I think that creates an interesting situation where the team that Outplayed thought was most likely to beat them was beat by a completely different team.
Yeah, completely unexpected team, to be honest. I don't think anybody expected Voltaic to be out of the competition at this point. Nothing against Freelance United Nation. These Frenchmen had it in for them. They had their number and they got it done. Congratulations. They are here at the show. And basically, um, I have to correct myself, by the way. I said that 2OP took fourth place. That is incorrect. We have a fourth place matchup coming up later today. So keep your eyes peeled for that. That's totally my fault. Now, what I want to point out here, I want to start with Outplayed. These guys are veterans of the Prep Phase League. They've been here since day one of Season 1, a little bit earlier. Captained by Road, XLX, Ash, Jackie, Baby Millie, Etheria, Zrave, and Malediction in there for their teams. They have a full six-person roster. But of course, only 4 of them can get in on the match at any given moment. What they seem to like to do a lot, Road, of course, is going to be that firepower player. We've got Baby Millie, of course, is the quintessential Asana player, the frontliner for the team. Ash, Jackie, Malediction, they're both firepowers. And then they have Etheria and Zrave, who are the support players. And what happens most of the time is Etheria and Zrave will one of them will play game 1, one of them will play game 2. Now in a best of 3 series, that would be very interesting to me to see if they do swap them out, or if they just want to go with their best of the best in their minds of who they have on the roster. On the same thread, Ash, Jackie, and Malediction swap in that firepower role a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see which 4 of those 6 they actually put up there, but you can guarantee to see Road and Baby Millie every single match, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think really another question is, are they going to be switching, between games? Because they've got, if it looks like Zrave and Mal are going to be playing this game, well, in the finals, is that going to change? Are they going to swap people out, or are they going to stick with the same roster?
I mean, I got to tell you, Etheria is one of those fan favorites, man. She's really become a star in the Prep Phase League, and for good reason. Her play speaks for itself, and not utilizing her in the tournament, I think, would be a tremendous mistake. Now, on the other side of the coin, we've got Freelance United Nation. Like I said, the Frenchmen. We've got, and they're not all French, by the way, but we've got Inepsi, the team captain, Coxie, Legion, Dizzy, Zafnir, and they don't have a 6th slot filled. So 5 members. So 4 of those 5 are going to be on the field at any given moment. Legion is their frontline player. And of course, I'm going to have to pull my memory banks here because it's been a little bit, but I believe it's going to be Coxie and Inepsi are going to be the firepowers. And then you have Dizzy or Zanfir are going to be...
Inepsi is their support. He's a main support. So the others are
Thank you.
going to be their front line. Of course, Zafnir is a little bit of like their swing player. He is literally their substitute player. That is kind of his role in it. He's only played about 8 games throughout the whole season. But when he did, he mainly played Zuki, so he could be considered to be their firepower backup. But then there were a couple games where he did have to jump in there and play as a support. And with that note, it looks like we are joined by Mr. Pepper Titan. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
So what did you think about those games? Were you able to catch most of them?
I did. I watched all of them, and I expected a great performance from Trash, and that's what we got. So can't say I'm terribly surprised, even though I was always hoping for a game 3, but didn't end up that way.
Yeah, I think we're all always kind of secretly, we are all secretly rooting Trash on, or we're all secretly hoping they lose a game at the same time.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's a little bit ridiculous that nobody's really toppled them just yet. Now, Pepper, watching those games, what do you feel was going on with 2OP? I mean, they're one of the top teams from this season, and they just got demolished. What's going on there?
I mean, game 1, it was definitely they got really spread out. They got spread out early, and Trash did what Trash does. They take advantage of that. They burn people down one at a time. In game 2, Avaki got caught out real bad. But I think 2OP put way too much effort into chasing him down, and it allowed Trash to close in on them and punish them for it. They ended up trading that first button, too, even though Avaki was burning Catalyst from turn 3 or 4.
Yeah, burning all 3 of his catalysts by turn 7, I believe it was. But at the same time, yeah, you pointed it out perfectly, I think. Chasing him around allowed the other 3 members of Team Trash to burn down 2 members of 2OP and really get them low HP, a lot lower than Avaki was at that point, with just the frontline Titus chasing him around the map. Finally going down when Titus, they did the trade for Grimo for Nyx, with Titus getting the killing blow there. But what do you expect to see coming up for this matchup?
Well, I know, at least from experience in seeing the games, Legion is another big Titus fan. So I'm kind of expecting to see it, but at the same time, I mean, I love Titus, but I'm not sure about the picks he's had today when, Rask was still on the table, especially with the double firepower or double frontliner comp that 2OP went game 1. I definitely don't think that was the right choice. But going into this game, I kind of expect to see him. I mean, Millie's going to want his Asana, too, for that front line, so those might be the easiest picks to guess.
Yeah, I would expect Baby Millie to play Asana unless it's banned or picked away 100% of the time. By far, one of the stronger frontliners in the game, if not the strongest frontliner in the game right now, according to the people that talk about it all the time in the Discord. And obviously, he loves Asana. He plays it more than anything else by far, and he's an excellent Asana player. Really understands how that Freelancer works and how to really push the enemy team into bad situations with it.
Yeah, and support picks are going to be interesting because if they had a Theria, then you'd think you'd think Aurora. But with Zrave, he tends to favor Helio more than anything else. So that might be their focus, and if they can get the Asana, Helio Asana is a pretty dastardly combo as long as you keep up the aggression and don't let the fight, break apart and people back off.
Well, yeah, and that's only if they can, get Asana for themselves.
Yeah.
Because, Legion does play Titus most of the time, but he has, whenever he cannot get Titus, or it's just a better choice not to, that is who he goes for. He goes for that Asana pick. So in this case, it might be beneficial for them to go ahead and take Asana as opposed to going for the Titus.
Well, or just ban it out. If they want the Titus anyway, just ban out the Asana.
Yeah, I say it so many times, man. Against Outplayed, you've got to get Asana off the board. I mean, no matter what else happens, that is clearly, I think maybe Road is up there with the Lockwood as far as performance, but as far as just taking over a match, I think that's their most dangerous weapon is Asana in Baby Millie's hands. He doesn't die. He gets up in your face, taking on 2-3 members at the same time, and then just dashes back out again when he gets low. Takes up their time, takes up their attention, allows his team to get in there and do the damage that they need to be doing to take over the match. So I think that's their most potent weapon, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, and I think one of the most powerful things that he's done that I've noticed is Baby Millie will get on Asana, he'll track down the support player, he'll harass the support player to no end. He can't really kill them. He can't really take them down by himself as Asana. Asana just doesn't quite do enough damage to do it, especially with them being able to heal themselves, depending on the support, of course. But he'll basically chase them all around the map, leaving the rest of his team the firepowers, to just burn down whoever's left. and the support for the enemy team cannot support their own team, pretty much giving them the upper hand throughout the whole fight.
Yeah, I would agree entirely. And one of the things that I would like to see, if they can't stop Asana from being going over to Outplayed and in Baby Millie's hands, I would like to see a Quark pickup. I know it's not something that they play consistently, and I don't even think I've seen them play it at all this season. But for Freelancer United Nation, if they can pull off a Quark here and tether to the Asana when he comes in, when Baby Millie gets aggressive, gets in your face, that Quark tether avoids the retribution damage from the shield. If you can time it right between the shield cooldowns, every time Baby Millie activates it, it does not proc, because the Quark tethers are indirect damage, not direct. So the return damage isn't going to be there, for one. And for two, the consistent turn after turn after turn damage coming out of that tether is going to force Baby Millie to get out of there sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and actually, on that note, we've got another one of those fantastic graphics to take a look at here. Of course, since it looks like we do have Zrave playing today instead of Etheria, we've got one of Inepsi versus Zrave. Of course, Inepsi is the kind of Aurora player. As you'd expect, we got several top-tier Aurora players who focus on support. Inepsi is one of them. And Zrave, like mentioned before, is a Helio player, comes in with Helio and just kind of mixes things up. So, you know, Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say something interesting about this graphic. You might notice, guys at home, the second and third stat, healing per turn and healer rating, you have to keep in mind that shields count for supports healing in the game. So effective shielding counts just like a heal does. So keep that in mind as well, because you're seeing Helio over there for Zrave. That's his stats most of the time is going to be from a Helio standpoint, and he doesn't have any heals. He has the shields, but that counts the same. So keep that in mind.
So, but yeah, you know, looking at their comparative stats, you know, you have an Epsi, you know, basically 3 out of 4 games going to have 1 death. Whereas Zrave has, you know, it's just not quite half of the time, you know, 2 out of 4. So not a huge difference. The other thing is Zrave actually plays quite a bit more aggressively. So his healer rating is a bit low, mainly because of the fact that most of the times I've seen him playing, he's running Might Shield. So when he's throwing that Might Shield out, it may not necessarily be to actually have any protection. It could just be an advantageous time to put Might on someone who's about to just deal a metric ton of damage.
Yeah, that's one of the more interesting things about like a Helio. In the end of game stats screen that you have in Atlas Reactor, you can mouse over somebody's stats and you can see their contribution score, which is the combined stats of everything that they've done in the game that was tallied up. And one of the things Helio excels at is things that really don't show in the numbers. Like you just mentioned there, throwing a mighted shield onto one of the firepowers who is in no danger, but might have their ultimate ready, like a Nyx off in the background, just wants to get that extra damage off. Not that shield is totally ineffective, counts for 0 for the stats, but he helped the team in that capacity, and it doesn't count toward that contribution score. So that's an interesting little metric about Helio. He does things a little bit differently than everybody else does.
And the other thing about Helio is brings so much to the table in terms of the combo. I mean, a lot of people want to see the cool Wombo combo, but personally, I'd rather they didn't just try and do that and even try and fake it out. You know, if you're playing against Aurora, who has the unstoppable paralyzer, you can try and trick her into using it a little bit early and then try and do some, you know, throwing people around the map. So he brings a lot to the table in that it just puts the enemy team in the back of their mind. They're thinking, you know, at some point they're going to try and do the Wombo combo, and we have to be prepared.
Well, yeah, not to mention the fact that he's one of only, I believe, 2 Lancers that actually can put Scramble as an effect on the other Lancers. It's an incredibly powerful effect. So it's him and his Wall and Pup with their ultimate. So basically, he gets more Scrambles that he's able to throw out, more than anybody else, because it's not based off his ultimate, it's based off just a standard ability for him.
Yeah, it does take some either teamwork or prediction to land it, but it can be really powerful and really throw off a team's whole strategy. If you think, oh, next turn I can heal you, don't worry, suddenly you're scrambled and that person's just left to die.
So, but yeah, and then, let's go back to the graphic here. So we do have heals per turn, Inepsi coming in. Now, Inepsi is actually number 3 on the chart toppers of support players, basically. So his heals per turn are coming in at 19.86, very, very high. He's basically healing 20 points of health per turn, every turn. So, Zrave coming in a little bit lower because, like previously mentioned, Helio has different ways you can play him. Not all of them include using his support abilities in the way that they're specifically meant to be protective. So his healing per turn only coming in at 15.02, but he did come in, I believe it was number 8, so he's not too far back there, but, there aren't as many dedicated support players as there are, say, firepower players.
Yeah, and I would like to point out here the tankiness factor. Have you guys talked about that yet? I had a little bit of a mishap. I'm a little bit out of the loop. But the tankiness factor basically, I think, tells the tale of their play style more than anything else. You see Zrave on 1 foot, with that 0.58 deaths per game, so a little bit above 1 every 2 games. And then his tankiness factor is 11.65, which is rather higher than an Epsi's. And the reason for that, I think, is his aggressive play style. He's taking the damage. He's not dying a whole lot, but he does have all those shields to help him out with the Helio play that he likes to do. And on the other side, in Epsi, trying to stay back a little bit more, probably has a little bit better positioning overall than perhaps Zrave does. And it reflects in his tankiness factor. He's not taking as much damage each and every turn and every game, but he is dying more often. So that's kind of a telling tale right there.
Right, and go ahead.
Well, you hear it sort of referred to jokingly, but it can certainly be a real thing. It's the frontline Helio, where in a pinch, Helio can drop a shield or an ult on himself and act as that frontline, soak up a lot of damage. That could be where that tankiness come from if he is favoring this particular character over the others. I mean, obviously he doesn't always play Helio because that's not always possible, but that is a sub role that Helio can fill in a pinch. Not saying you should bring him as your frontliner, but if your frontliner is down or too far away from the fight and you need someone in there to soak up damage, Helio can do a pretty good job of it.
My favorite thing when Helio was completely overpowered and broken was to run around the map, and of course you've got the frontliner, somebody else maybe chasing you down as that immobile support player, and just once the ultimate comes up, completely flip the switch. Throw your ult on yourself and say 1v1 me bro in all chat and just start chasing them instead. That's the most fun I ever had with Helio. And you can still do that a little bit, but also that's in a pub match. That's not something that I would probably try to do in a competitive match, but it's just one of those things Helio could do, like Pepper was pointing out. If the need arises, he can just ult himself and get in the thick of it.
So yeah, and that, like you guys were saying, the tankiness, it is directly related to, first off, the amount of damage that they're taking. So positioning has a little bit of a part to play in this. The next part of it is it's actually a comparison to, their average lives per game. So if they're not dying as often, the tankiness rating is higher. So you can see that Zrave only has 0.58 average deaths per game. So that, was the first factor that would kind of raise his tankiness higher. The second is he just takes more damage. Inepsi doesn't take nearly as much damage, but does die a little bit more. So the tankiness rating is not quite up there, but it completely reflects 2 different play styles. Zrave more often than not is going to be on Helio, which is more of a mid-range as compared to Aurora, who can, you can play her from a fairly further away range. She's got all of her abilities, including her just basic attack, has just an incredibly long range.
Yeah, I would like to agree with that entirely. I mean, Helio has more health points in his health bar than an Aurora does. So he does have that ability to just step up a little bit and get into the thick of things. Of course, with his shielding, with his basic attack Echo Hammer, of course, the shield is a free action. That makes him more dangerous than some of the other supports because he can shield himself. And of course, in this case, if Zrave does take that Mighted Shield mod, might himself up for a big-time Echo Hammer coming up right behind. And on the flip side of things, if he is in a good position, doesn't have to shield himself, that benefits the team much more. So we're going to have to see really what the positioning of these guys turns into. If Inepsi gets out of position, we're going to see those stats tell the whole story. But if he stays in a good spot, stays behind cover, stays within range to help his team, those stats aren't going to mean a thing. He's going to be playing much, much better than usual. On the flip side of things, if Zrave can get in there, stay in a good spot, stay in vision of his team, get those shields out when they need to get out, and instead of just using it for the might, I think that's going to benefit them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, kind of moving on from that, so it looks like the teams are starting to get ready here. We have a few more moments before we actually jump into the game. So let's talk about some predictions. What do you guys think? Of course, Fun being the newcomer here, but has shown a lot of promise, and then Outplayed really kind of I don't know what you want to call them, but just the veterans here. They were, they took second place in last season's tournament. They've showed that they've continued to be an incredibly strong team through the entire Season 2 league. And Fun, of course, came in brand new and literally just, ripped and clawed their way up to 6th seed. They weren't even qualified for it until week 6. They just had an incredible week 6 and were able to pull themselves up and made it into the tournament. It was really just this incredible storyline all the way through.
Yeah, and just like Wallalaw pointed out in the interview lounge, it would be a tremendous story just for them to reach the finals here, biting and scratching and clawing their way, just like you mentioned, Septimus, to that 6th seed spot, getting into the tournament by the skin of their teeth, literally, and then to make it all the way through the first round, the quarterfinals, now against Outplayed in the semifinals, one of the teams that is expected to be there in that finals, now versus Trash that we know for sure. To take them out, get in there, and go against Team Trash for the top prize here would be a Cinderella story like no other.
And the first team Fun fought was Trash, so it'd be great to see him up against them again. And to give them a shot at redemption is they are the ones that technically beat Trash, but I think they'd rather beat them not only in the finals, but as against the full team.
Absolutely. I mean, nobody wants to see that smudge on Trash's record because of a bot, but it is there regardless. So Freelancer United Nation does know what it feels like to beat Trash. I just don't think they know what it feels like to beat them legitimately, I guess we would say. Without that disconnect, without the bot in there, even they said after the fact, it was kind of like it didn't feel like a win. So I would love to see that matchup as well. But of course, we can't count Outplayed out. These guys know exactly what they're doing. They don't hold anything back. We talk about Trash's style where they kind of take the foot off the accelerator for game one and see what the enemy team's going to do. Outplayed don't do that. They go full steam ahead from moment one until the match ends. And I love that play style. Baby Millie fits into it perfectly. Road fits into it perfectly. Very aggressive players. And it just works.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see the picks. It'll be interesting to see the map. And I'm really excited to see how these teams play it out. If we're going to see that hyper-aggressive Outplayed play, and if Fun will be able to compensate for that and work against it.
Now, according to the names I'm seeing on the draft screen here, Outplayed versus Fun, what that tells me is Outplayed is going to be the home team starting off here. They, of course, are the higher seeds, so that makes sense. They get the pick of the map, which means Fun get the first ban and first pick. So I would expect Outplayed to probably pick one of the larger maps, either Evos or Flyaway Freighter. And then Fun, if they're paying any attention to how Outplayed likes to do things and understanding that who's in the game lobby, they don't need to worry about Etheria on Aurora. I would worry more about Road on Lockwood or Baby Millie on Asana, and you've already heard my feelings about that. So I would expect one of those two to be banned out for them, and then if Outplayed doesn't ban the other one, they pick the other one.
So yeah, I think that's definitely probably what's going to be happening here. And of course, with some of the favorites coming from the other players here, I expect we're going to see a little bit of a battle for who gets to play who. First off, we got Lockwood on Road. Actually seems to be really just kind of the favorite of Road here. On Freelancer United Nation, we see some more, I guess, not typical picks. Nyx and Blackburn really coming in as their favorite as far as what they usually pick. So that may also be some of the reason for a little bit of their success, is the fact that they're not playing to what's been the typical meta that was established in Season 1.
Yeah, and I would like to throw this one over to Pepper Titan if you have an opinion here. You've already told us what you think Legion is going to do. Probably try to get that Asana away, not fall onto Titus as much, even though that is basically his comfort pick. On Outplayed side, let's say they don't get Asana. What is Baby Millie going to fall back on? And what is the team comp going to look like at that point?
I mean, if he doesn't get Asana, I feel like the next fallback will be Rask. Asana and Rask are really neck and neck for considered the top frontliner. I think a lot of it comes down to a personal preference. So if they can't get Asana, they can't get Rask. If they can't get Asana or Rask, I have no idea. Maybe Garrison?
So that's the secret, just frontliner bans all around.
That might work against Outplayed if seeing as Legion's comfortable on Titus.
Absolutely. I mean, let's say, for example, Fun bans Asana, Outplayed bans whoever, and then their first pick is Rask. Or vice versa. They ban Rask, get Asana.
I actually
now
want to
Baby
jump
Millie's in
there.
a spot.
I actually want to jump in there because last weekend we saw Baby Millie play Titus almost exclusively because people were trying that against him with the Asana bans. So it's definitely something people have thought about. However, he put Titus 3 out of the 4 games he played. They were his highest scoring games for the entire season. So saying you want to put Baby Millie on Titus it's just as bad as him being on Asana, in my opinion. And that's just looking straight at the numbers.
So it's kind of like shooting yourself in the foot here. What are you supposed to do? I mean, let's get away from the frontliner. Pepper Titan, what do you expect to come out of Freelancer United Nation? I know Septimus just pointed out Nyx and Blackburn seem to be their top 2 picks there. But what do you actually expect them to come out with? Because we're looking at Outplayed. They want to get their hands on Gray, Lockwood, Celeste, as does everybody else.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen here as far as if they just forget about the frontline bans and picks, what do you think is going to happen in the draft phase?
I mean, the Blackburn I can see working. I think it depends on the map a lot. If it's Flyway, Blackburn not quite as potent as he can be on the smaller maps. Maybe they aim for a Gremo there. But if they're going to be on Evos or Cloudspire, then I wouldn't be surprised to see him pick up that character they're comfortable with that can really take advantage of the smaller space and more walls to do Blackburn nonsense around.
Blackburn nonsense, definitely. We're looking forward to seeing some Blackburn nonsense out of Freelancer United Nation. Now, as far as that goes, Septimus, man, do you have any super awesome stats to pull out here for any of these players? Because this is, we're in the semifinals here. This is getting big time. What do you expect to see as far as performance goes based off the numbers? Who's in those leaderboards and who can really shine week in and week out?
Well, so here's the thing. So it's really kind of amazing looking at these two teams because you've got several players, from both teams who are all up on those, leaderboards that I've been creating for the last couple weeks. Baby Millie, of course, and Legion 346 are both top tier frontliners. Then you've got Etheria, Zrave, and Inepsi, who are all top tier support players. Dizzy, of course, is up there on the firepower. So is Coxie. But then you've also got Road and Malediction for Outplayed, who are also up there. So this is really kind of a battle to see who is the best of the best, because both of these teams have some really, really excellent players on both sides, and not just in one category either. It's very well-rounded teams as far as, you know, chart toppers go.
And maybe I'll finally get my game 3. It does look like the teams are ready to go, so I'm gonna leave you guys to it, and I'll see everybody for the third and final matches.
Absolutely,
right.
Pepper, and we will see you here after these for the the third and fourth team matches, and then the finals following that. So all right,
I cannot wait. And yeah, we're waiting for these guys to start up that draft phase. And man, just like you said, with all of these, both teams having multiple players in that top 5 position here for stats, for their respective positions and roles, and this should be one of our best matchups just based off the numbers alone. We should see that game 3. We should see really close, competitive games. And man, here we go. So the home team's going to be choosing the map. Looks like it's going to be Outplayed. They're going to pick up Evos immediately.
I'm sorry.
And so now you see Freelancer United Nation gets to ban their first Freelancer, and that's going to be the Asana, just like I was expecting out of them. Get it out of Baby Millie's hands, but just like Septimus pointed out, he seems to be just as good, or if not better, on Titus.
So yeah, it looks like they were thinking the exact same thing we were. Just keep Baby Millie from taking that Asana. Looks like Outplayed is going to ban Celeste in response, which was one of the kind of secondary favorites of Freelancer United Nation, and really just kind of a favorite overall. Freelancer United Nation responds by taking Lockwood away from Road. I know that's definitely one of his favorite Lancers, and honestly, I'm kind of wondering if maybe he'll play Oz again.
Well, I certainly hope so, because that would be a super exciting match to see. I mean, I know there's a lot of Oz fans out there that don't get to see a lot of Oz showing up, and Outplayed just going straight for that Titus and the Aurora pick. Even those Raves in here, we're going to see that Aurora. He has picked up that Freelancer quite a bit, maybe getting some nice lessons from his subscription to Etheria Weekly that he reads every week. So seeing what he's going to be able to do there, I'm really curious to see what Fun's going to come back with here. I would expect probably another firepower, possibly the Gray, come out of them right now to secure 2 of the top firepowers in the game.
So yeah, and actually, you know, not surprised at all to see Baby Millie on that Titus, considering his performance in week 6. So that was really, I think, kind of a big blow to Legion, because when he does play frontline, it is an exclusive kind of a frontline situation where he always plays Titus. So we're seeing a lot of really, really targeted bans and picks here. You know, of course, Lockwood away from Road. Rask, nobody really kind of favorites Rasks on these two teams. So that's just kind of like he has to take that because there's nothing else. But, you know, you had the Asana ban towards Baby Millie for Inepsi. Inepsi's an Aurora player. So they took Aurora away from them and then Titus away from Legion. So, I mean, everything that's going on here, except for that Rask, really, has been targeted at the other team.
Yeah, it's super fun to watch these teams really pick at each other like this and just take away their favorites. And with the bans and the picks, there's the Gray pickup for Outplayed. So I was expecting that to come out instead of the Rask for Fun. I would expect that Gray to show up onto Road at this point, the team captain for Outplayed. Answering back, I would have to think Blackburn's coming out of Fun because that is their go-to. But I love the Quark pick here because when Titus gets in there, gets in close, Quark can just tether. And just like with Asana, pushing back out as soon as possible.
So yeah, and they do have another pick here. Very curious who they're going to take as their second firepower. Or maybe they'll surprise us and go with a non-traditional comp. But they do. They go with Nyx instead. So definitely a good solid composition going on there.
Absolutely. I've said it many, many times. Evos to me is Nyx's playground. So many walls and places to peek out and get that nice line of sight, get that nice trap down. And also when the ult's up, you're in a super safe position and just take people out from really far away. I love that pick up here for fun. I think they have a really solid team comp here. They've got Lockwood, Nyx, Rask, Quark. I love the comp that they've picked. I think they have a really good shot here, but we got to see what Outplayed is going to pick up for their last pick here, their firepower, most likely their second firepower. And it's going to be Blackburn, almost a straight shot to the gut there. Like, you didn't pick him, we'll pick him and beat you with him.
So yeah, so actually, and interestingly enough, actually it looks like Road is going to be the one playing Blackburn. So it's really kind of like Freaky Friday going on here between these two teams, where they're taking each other's picks and then switching it around on top of each other. So I think this is going to be a really fun game.
Pun intended, I'm sure. With fun over there, I really like the draft phase. The Blackburn confuses me. It really does. Especially coming out of Outplayed. They had so many other options. I know Road is a Zuki player. Perhaps didn't want to do that this game. Obviously didn't want to do that this game, but for what reason? Why did he pick Blackburn over Zuki? He's played Zuki much, much more in competitive than really anything besides Lockwood. So it's questionable to me, that pick, but obviously in the hands of a great player like Road, he is one of the best firepower players in the game right now. So you got to give him credit where credit is due. He's probably going to be able to perform with pretty much anything.
So yeah, absolutely. And it's just one of those things where just because we haven't seen him perform with Blackburn in the Prep Phase League, I've played with Road off and on for a while now, as have many of us who have participated in the league or been part of it for some time now. When Blackburn first came out, I heard screamings from him saying that Blackburn was his new main. Of course, that never actually happened, and now we hear that Oz is his new main. So he's gone through the Blackburn phase, and he can play Blackburn very, very well.
Yeah, so experience on the Freelancer, there's no question about that. We just, man, you got to make the point. You haven't seen it in these stressful competitive situations before. Is he going to be able to perform at that level with this Freelancer? That's the big question. But I think the biggest thing right here is going to be, again, the support war. Inepsi versus Zrave. Zrave has kind of the backup support pick for him. He likes that Helio. The backup's going to be Aurora. The rest of the team is very, very comfortable playing with an Aurora on their side because of Etheria's play, just the Aurora Queen. On the other side, Inepsi with the Quark. I love the Quark pickup. Not many people have done so, except for Team Trash, and I'm liking the fact that they're starting to pick it up finally.
Well, yeah, it's something we're just starting to see more and more of as the game kind of goes on, and people discover how powerful he actually is.
Yeah, it's so hard to actually kill the person that Quark is tethered to, and also to push Quark away, because he does have the built-in dash, the only support that has a built-in dash so far. So he's very, very powerful, very hard to lock down here. And it looks like Fun is actually just clustering up over here in the corner. Nobody has vision on anybody just yet. They're just gathering around that might buff, and man, they might just clash right here in the middle.
Yeah, I was thinking it's probably about to be a slugfest here in a minute as they all kind of meet up there, because they've all ended up on the same side. Just from the sound effects, they probably know approximately where each other are. A blind shot from Legion actually does a little cover damage to Mal there. And looks like here it is. We've got Road and Baby Millie surrounded by Dizzy and Coxie and Inepsi.
Yeah, they have no idea Road is there. All that they know is Baby Millie standing there by himself. They don't even have a last known position on Road, so they have no clue that he's back there. He can get a nice four-man shot off here, I think, if he aims it just right, and put down some tremendous damage on the enemy team right off the bat.
Yeah, and there goes that shout from Baby Millie, weakening and revealing Three members of the enemy team. He does do a dash there, but does go through a trap for it. Or I'm sorry, it does go through a trap for it, and only catches an Epsi and Coxie there. A bounce shot from Dizzy doesn't get anybody, but Baby Millie does get a tether from an Epsi, and then a grenade coming in from Road, catching both Coxie and an Epsi. So it looks like their focus was really on both Coxie and an Epsi in that particular round.
Yeah, kind of a smart play there. I don't think that they really expected the dash from Baby Millie's Titus there. Probably just a basic attack, but they did move away in tandem. And Legion, of course, on the Nyx, surprisingly. So we have a little bit of a swap of roles now where Cox really excited to see this game, even more so than I was before.
All right, looks like a trap coming out from Legion there. A dagger into an Epsi coming from Baby Millie there. And a dash from Road, just trying to keep away from the three members there. And there goes an Ion Cloud coming and landing on Dizzy and Road. And that bounce shot not catching anybody because of the dash. He does get a three-man shot off, popping the dagger on an Epsi there. And Baby Millie did catch that Radiate from an Epsi.
Yeah, and you see, just like that, an Epsi on the cork pushes Baby Millie out of the fight immediately. We're only starting up turn number 5 here, so it only took 4 turns to make him turn tail and get out of there. Now Road is in a serious problem, but I really like what Zrave did there on the Aurora, putting down the Ion Cloud just in case they followed Road over to that spot. Said, well, if you want my firepower, you're going to have to come to get him through damage.
And there goes Zrave throwing a heal onto Baby just to top him off. Lots of shields coming out now, and Road injecting himself with might. Coxie doing the dash there as well as Baby. Baby's going to catch both Dizzy and an Epsi though. And there goes a shot. Still catching Baby from across the map. Mal's shot not going to catch anybody. Dizzy going to make up for that by bouncing a shot in the Road, who responds with a mighty shot to his face for 45. And Epsi, because of the heal from Zrave, is going to stay in place though.
Yeah, Baby Millie had to disengage for 1 turn and then fly back in onto an Epsi. Legion had a great prediction. He knew exactly what Baby Millie wanted to do, probably because he is that frontline main. Knew Baby Millie wanted to dash back in. Got a clean, straight shot on him when he did so.
All right, looks like Baby using his Turtle Tech this turn. Mal is going to weaken and reveal Legion there. And there's the shout from Baby, gonna weaken both Inepsi and Dizzy. Coxie's swipe going to catch Road, but only in the outer ring. Road responds with 36 damage, along with 18 from Zrave there with Zrave's basic, and a 42 damage shot to Legion from Malediction there. A Vortex round does cover to Zrave and Malediction though. And it looks like Baby is the focus for both Inepsi and Dizzy here, taking him down fairly low, even with that Turtle Tech.
So a very strange basic attack from Baby Millie, ignoring the cork right next to him, and instead going after the Lockwood. And it was behind cover as well. So ignoring a full damage shot onto the cork, getting a covered reduction damage on Lockwood. Basically, I think he may have expected Inepsi to dash out of there as the cork behind Dizzy or somewhere else, and just wanted to try to predict that, but it didn't work out that time.
Yeah, there goes that big 40 heal from Zrave. Mal going to use his Turtle Tech this time around, and Nepsi is going to just start working on healing Dizzy back up with those Radiates. Baby throwing a dagger onto Coxie, who is also going to activate his healing that turn. But here comes the focus. A dagger popping... a grenade popping the dagger, and a shot from Malediction take Coxie down to only 21 health. And here comes the ultimate from Legion, hitting both Mal and Road for 50.
Now, Outplayed failed to take down the enemy Rask. He used everything that he possibly did. He self-healed himself with his ability, used Second Wind, got the big heal out there, picked up the Hill Orb as well. So he is healing like a madman. He also almost has his ult up, but the big story is Legion got a big-time 2-person ultimate from the Nyx, bringing Outplayed into a bad situation here. They've got to make a decision now, fight or flight.
And here comes the Catalyst from Coxie. While he heals up, Zrave throws an Ion Box out there, but catches nobody because of that. Oh, and Road wastes his ultimate, but we're going to have Mal do a cover shot on the Legion, who responds with a shot to Zrave, followed up by Dizzy with a bounce shot, also hitting Zrave.
Yeah, Road was probably hoping for that two-man Blackburn ultimate, hitting Coxie and Legion over there, but he only catches Legion on the Nyx. But Nyx, of course, 40 damage to him is a lot more dangerous than a 40 damage to a Rask. He needs to heal himself up now. He did pick up the health orb at the top of the map there, from my perspective anyway. And then he does have his team following him up. NFC does have the Quark ultimate. Dizzy has the Lockwood ultimate. Lots of stuff getting ready to happen this turn.
And there goes the trap from Dizzy going out there. Zrave is going to Paralaser both Dizzy and Inepsi. And there's the Quark ultimate hitting both Legion and Dizzy. So Dizzy's going to Legion's going to throw out a trap at Dizzy with his ultimate there, focusing on Zrave. Rhodes with the second win, and Zrave just going to stand in that Ion Cloud to catch a little bit more health. But here comes the ultimate coming in from both Coxie and Malediction there. Inepsi caught in Malediction's Voltaic Cage, and Baby Millie taking quite a bit of damage here from Coxie, who's going to knock him back through a Lockwood Trap, leaving him with only 3 health. And looks like Inepsi and Legion are both going to get caught by that Voltaic Cage.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, they ran right through that wall, and now with the changes to Gray's ultimate, the wall does not disappear, so there's no way out for Legion right now. He is stuck. Baby Millie, on the other side, has 2 options here, dash away or catalyst away. What is the better option? I don't know. Probably the dash, since it does refresh. It does have a cooldown.
Well, there comes the dash from Inepsi, attaching himself to Zrave. Road going to take a shot at Coxie. And Dizzy doing a bounce shot, trying to find Malediction, but cannot. Zrave does use that ultimate there to heal up his team, and also catches Dizzy in there as well. But it looks like Legion is a target, getting a shot from Malediction as well as Mal's drone. And Coxie going to knock Road back out into the open.
Legion's in a world of hurt here. The Voltaic Cage disappears, but he couldn't risk going through it in that movement phase. It wasn't gone just yet. Now he has a painful option. Use the Catalyst or die. And turn 11, we're more than halfway through the match here now. Getting ready to start the second half of the match, 20 turns. I mean, using the Catalyst here to avoid a death could be a good option, but what is he going to do after that?
It looks like Zrave was having to use that heal for himself, as well as turtle teching. Baby Millie just going to weaken Inepsi, it looks like. And there goes the dash, hitting Inepsi and Zrave, but does miss the shot, the dash from Coxie by using his own dash. A bounce from Zrave, a bounce from Dizzy goes right into Zrave, and there goes the grenade from Road. Doing damage to Inepsi, bringing him down quite low, down into the 30s.
Yeah, Baby Millie runs out of options now. He only has the Dirty Fighting Dagger to use. He is going to go down this turn. Like you mentioned, last turn, Zrave used the heal on himself just to stay alive. Does need that to keep Baby Millie alive, but wouldn't even have line of sight at this point anyway. So NFC could just take out Baby Millie all by himself with that Quark tether attached. Road needs to peek around here and chase down that Quark. Even though he has a firepower, he's got to get some damage down on that Quark, even more than he already has.
Oh man, that was an amazing shot from Mal, revealing Legion there over off the side. He does get, oh my goodness, thanks Will. So he does survive with 1 health for now, but Legion does take a shot and survives with 2. Baby Millie going down to both Inepsi and Coxie, and there it is. He goes down. Inepsi survives with 1, but walks right up to Road.
Yeah, Inepsi is pretty much in a world of hurt here. There's nothing that his team can do to help him. He has a Catalyst, but with only 2 HP, do you really want to use it? The same problem over on the other side with Legion, sitting on 3 HP. He's going to get 15 healed because he did use second wind last turn. He's got 2 more turns of 15 health coming in, but he's got to survive to utilize those.
Yeah, and looks like he does get a little health because of that tether, and decides to Catalyst here out to avoid his death. So Road, of course, going to do a sweep there, catching Coxie, but because of the Catalyst missed an Epsi. And Mal taking a shot on Legion, but because of that Turtle Tech, he does survive for another turn, able to get that health.
What Legion did there was very, very smart. Didn't take the shot onto Malediction there. Just double moved away. Got up another health orb, so he's at 25 HP, going to get 15 plus 10. So 25 more makes it 50 next turn. So he's going to be able to survive one more basic attack for Malediction. Does Malediction even have a line of sight on him? Yes, he does.
And there goes Inepsi attaching his tether to Road. A shot from Mal, revealing Legion for another turn, but he responds with a Vortex round to try and slow him down a little bit. Road finally taking Inepsi down with a shot to the face.
Until turn 14, Freelancer United Nation had a 1-0 lead over Outplayed, the number 2 seed, versus the number 6 seed in here. That is very impressive. Road has to tie the matchup for his team, taking out the Quark. Now, Coxie is in a world of hurt here, surrounded by Malediction, Road, and Zrave. He's very low HP as a Rask. Legion has Baby Millie chasing him around as well nearby. Full health Titus versus 27 health Nyx. Never going to go in the Nyx's favor.
And there goes a shot on Mal, with Coxie hitting him as well, leaving him with only 11 health. Here comes the drone, taking Legion down to very low. Now, oh, there goes Coxie going down to Zrave's basic, as well as Baby taking down Nyx at the same time. A double kill, changing it very quickly, moving Outplayed up 3-1.
Yeah, an excellent round for Outplayed. They surrounded the low health targets, made sure they had no way to get out of this and survive, and just took them out. It's textbook play for Atlas Reactor players right there. If you want to know how to win games, that's exactly how you do it. You whittle them down turn after turn after turn, and then make sure they have no outs and surround them.
And there goes Dizzy, throwing a trap down and dashing out since he is incredibly outnumbered at the moment. So grenade, looks like just a lot of healing going to be happening here, and then moving into position for the next turns.
4 turns remaining.
Well, Baby Millie is right where he wants to be, surrounded by the enemy team. 2 versus 1 over there, but he does this matchup so well for his team. 2v1 or 1v2 from his perspective. He does it very well. And he's full health Titus, no question about it. He's going to stick right in there. Now Malediction is coming over on the other side of the map towards the support, exactly what he wants to do. Gets the big heal.
I cannot be stopped.
And there goes the shout, weakening Inepsi and Dizzy. Dizzy, of course, going to take that bounce shot, doing 28 to Baby Millie, who's going to focus on Dizzy this turn. And here comes the ultimate from Road, hitting both Inepsi and Dizzy for 50 apiece.
Another round won by Outplayed. The momentum is entirely in their favor now. It's their game to lose at this point. They can simply back off and just survive and win the match on turns. We only have 3 to go. We're on turn 18, getting ready to start. 18, 19, 20, not long to go. So they could just sit back, relax, and take out this first round, first game Ren.
Watch your back.
All right, looks like just a little bit of prep phase going on there. Inepsi topping off Dizzy there. A Paralaser from Zrave coming out to take Legion. Looks like revealed him as well. Baby Millie doing a dash to hit both Inepsi and Dizzy, and Road doing a dash to catch Legion there. And there comes the ultimate from Malediction, trapping Legion in place. And it looked like Dizzy didn't hit anybody with that, probably because of Baby's 1 square dash. Legion then walks through the Voltaic cage wall.
2 turns left.
Yeah, again, the second time Legion's walked through that wall, you have to understand when Gray has it up, if you're a squishy target, it's probably going to drop on your head. I want to point out Malediction's health bar right now. It's sitting at 106 HP, right next to a health globe. 3 turns ago, he had 20 HP or less. He was in the teens, if I remember right. And just excellent play, excellent disengagement allows him to be full health now.
So and there goes the dagger onto Inepsi. And Malediction weakening Coxie. He's going to dash away, but doesn't catch anybody for the ultimate because Road used his catalyst there to get into... There's Legion's ultimate hitting Baby Millie for 50, and Zrave as well, catching both Coxie and Legion.
They were trying to burst down Team Captain Road that turn, trying to get really tricky there. Looked like Coxie was going after Malediction. At the last second, he switches it up, tries to drop the ultimate and the dash onto Road's head with the Nyx ultimate. That would have been a tremendous amount of damage for them. And this is the last round of the match, round 20. Up 3-1 is Outplayed. It doesn't look like they're going to lose this one.
All right, Coxie using his health there. Road going to grab a little bit of might from his stem. And Nepsy just going to continue to top off Dizzy there. But it looks like Baby Millie is surrounded this time. And Nepsy going to use his ultimate. And Dizzy using his as well, catching both Road and Baby Millie. Baby going to catch a little damage from the Rascue there as well. And Road getting hit with a Vortex round. But here comes the ult from Baby Millie. 3-man ult, popping a dagger on a Nepsy, doing huge damage. But here it comes, the drone doing a little bit more to Coxie, and Road finishing off Nyx. And there goes the knockback on the Baby Millie, trapping him in the goo, or at least in the spot, since that will be disappearing. But the game is over.
Yep, 4-1 by Outplayed. Just what you would expect from the number 2 seed walking in against the number 6 seed in Fun. But obviously, Fun put up a good fight there. They didn't quite perform like we were hoping to see. Now, Road, on the other hand, on that Blackbird, performed beautifully. Did over 600 damage, barely, but just over 600 damage. Didn't ever die, was in on 3 of the 4 kills for his team, but made it happen. And, of course, I mean, just exactly what you want to see out of your firepower player.
Well, yeah, and it was like, you know, this is the kind of finish you would expect from, you know, the 2nd seed going up against the 6th seed. But I gotta say, Fun put up a really strong game. In fact, in the beginning there, I was almost expecting that, you know, Fun actually was going to possibly win this game with the way it started out.
Yeah, they did an excellent job early on. It just started to crumble a little bit there toward the just before the middle of the match. As soon as Road tied the game by taking out their support in FC, that just started the snowball effect. A couple turns later, they got a double kill for Outplayed, and then it was just pretty much over from there. You could see the morale deflate out of the team. They were trying to get a little bit too tricky there for their own good. Did Fun toward the end of the match, really just trying to switch things up, trying to be clever, and just not taking out the people that they could take out. And the Rask switching the dash around to go after Road. Like I said, when he was looking like he was going to go after Malediction, and the Nyx ult coming in when Road had an out. I mean, he read it like a book. He knew exactly what was going on. Even if the Rask wasn't there, he probably would have catted to avoid the Nyx ult there.
Yeah, it was just, I just think, a pretty amazing game overall. Very well done by both teams, and I really can't wait to see what happens this next round.
Yeah, and I do want to point one more thing out about the stats. If you still got it up there, Dizzy, for Fun, put up a very respectable performance even in a loss. He was in on the 1 kill that they got. Did never die, but he took 330 worth of damage, but didn't go down, thanks to the quirk mainly, but also with his good positioning. He put out 443 damage for the game, which almost led his team. Legion did lead the team in damage, but he did die twice. So that kind of negates that there. So Dizzy, in my opinion, the MVP for Fun on their side. But of course, Road blew everybody out of the water overall.
Yeah, Road definitely believe he actually ended up in the top damage dealer, you know, pretty much for the whole season. So definitely knows how to take any firepower really and just put out top damage. Even week 6, his top damage dealer as a Lancer, like I said, was Oz. So can really take any character and do very well with them when he's looking to be the firepower.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So really looking forward to game number 2 of this best of 3 series between the number 2 seed and the number 6 seed, Outplayed versus Freelancer United Nation. They've got the tools, they've got the drive, they have the game experience. Can Fun pull this one to a game 3?
So, all right, well, looks like we are piling into the lobby now, getting ready for that next game. I expect we'll see some very interesting plays this next game, since Fun has finally, I don't believe they'd ever played against Outplayed before. So that may have been their first game. Actually, I have to check some records on that one. But yeah, so if they had only played against them, if they had played against them before, it would have only been one match, since they did typically play on different days of the weekends. Outplayed being a Saturday team and Fun being a Sunday team. So yeah, it looks like they have never played against each other. So that was just a completely new experience for both of them. So now that both have kind of had a taste of each other, kind of curious to see how it's going to go for this second game.
Well, I believe the Fun is going to try to switch things up a little bit here. Obviously, taking the Lockwood away worked. I would expect to see them try to do that again. Taking the Asana away worked, and the Quark worked for them as well. So I would expect to see much the same as far as Lockwood and Quark. As soon as Baby Millie tries to come in, you put the offensive tether down and you push him back out again. I love that play. That's really what got them that early lead with the 1-0 that they held on to for a couple of turns. But then everything started to fall apart because the other things weren't in place. Legion, their quintessential frontline player, was on a firepower, and it showed that he was not quite as experienced as he should have been in that position. He died twice. He was not in on any of the kills. He got picked apart by the enemy Gray Malediction, and it just didn't look good at all. So I would expect him to go back to the frontline position for this match and just go with what works. Go with what brought you to the dance and put your best foot forward.
Yeah, and it really didn't help that Malediction literally focused on chasing Nyx down the entire game. That really had to be kind of an annoyance.
Yeah, and now Fun gets their pick of the map. They're going to be playing on Cloudspire, so a much stronger map for a Blackburn if they choose to pick that one up. I would not want to see... I mean, at this point, what do you allow to be in Rhodes' hands? What do you want to see in Rhodes' hands? I mean, he does so well with pretty much everything.
Well, it looks like we've got the bans in already. Happened very, very quickly. Freelancer United Nation, of course, banning Asana out again, and Outplayed also banning Celeste once again. So it looks like they just really do not want the other team to have those characters.
Same bans. I mean, honestly, Outplayed gets their first pick. I would expect Lockwood here right off the bat. Fun is going to have to come up with some way to outpick them the rest of the draft phase. And it's going to be rather difficult. These guys are very, very experienced players on Outplayed side. Not saying the Fun is not. They certainly are. But, I mean, shockingly, they're going to pick Titus first.
So, yeah, it looks like, Baby Millie's made that decision. If he can't have Asana, well, he's going to take Titus. So Fun, of course, not going to let Outplayed have, Lockwood. It's just too dangerous to let Lockwood fall into the hands of Road. Although at this point, it's kind of shown that he can really kind of work with whatever he'll take.
Yeah, I mean, we pick at Road so much here and we joke around, but at the end of the day, the story is Road is an excellent firepower player, probably one of the best ones that Atlas Reactor has ever seen. So I know we have a very short history looking back at that, but I mean, he's top. So I would expect probably a Gray here out of Fun. If not Gray, I don't know who they would pick besides Blackburn.
Oh, a pup.
Oh, so we get to see Pupperino coming in here. That's got to excite the fans sitting at home watching this. Everybody's wanted to see a pup, and we get to see it in the semifinals of the tournament.
So, yes, and to explain our startled reactions, so Pup has not been seen almost at all, at least not in any top-tier games like this. He's definitely never made it into a tournament game before. Granted, there's been only one other tournament, or at least one other prep phase tournament, rather. Let me rephrase that. So, but, Pup is not one that's considered to be consistent enough to be played at the highest levels, because he's very dependent on, certain things happening, and the one dash he does have available to him is super predictable.
Yeah, but Pup does have some strengths now. His ultimate got changed a little bit, where the closer you are, the more damage you take. I've seen a Pup with Might pull off a 70 damage ultimate on somebody right next to him. I've also seen the bite mod where you do extra damage with each subsequent bite, the next subsequent bite, doing as much as most firepowers do with their ultimate, with a basic attack. It's 50 plus damage with a might on the pup on a basic attack. It's unbelievable the amount of damage that this Freelancer can put out. So it's really going to be down to the position of the pup, the timing of the invisibility, the timing of the dash, the timing of the walkies. It's all got to line up perfectly. And I got to stop talking about pup because we're done with the draft phase. We got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, so we've got Rask and Quark got filled out for Freelancer United Nation. Outplayed, of course, picked up a Grimolitions and Gray as their final, with Aurora being their support. So,
and to note here, Aurora has shown up once again for Outplayed, but we do not see Etheria, the Aurora main, coming in, subbing in for Zrave. So nothing against Zrave. He's an excellent player, obviously shown by that very last game we saw there on the Aurora as well. So can pull it off. I'm just pretty surprised they didn't swap it out like they usually do.
So yeah, the real question will be, are they going to be changing their roster at all from here to the finals if they do win this game?
Well, Zrave obviously has shown tremendous improvement as a player. If you notice from when he first joined the Outplayed team many weeks ago to today, there's a night and day difference. I mean, he started out rough around the edges, was pretty new to the game. He is in a romantic relationship with Etheria. She brought him into the game, got him interested in it, and then brought him on to Outplayed. And it's been a growing process here for Zrave as a player. So really very well done for him, because you can see the transformation looking back to today.
So, all right, and looks like we are just waiting on the folks to ready up. But so just looking, strictly at these compositions, do you have any predictions as to what might happen here? Because I mean, Freelancer United Nation taking I want to say a high risk, high reward composition. You've got Pup, which is a melee firepower, which dangerous all by itself because he doesn't have a whole lot of health. Does have the ability to kind of regenerate some of his health through his basic attack. Rask has high survivability, but once again, mixed with Lockwood and Quark, I think it's kind of a high risk composition compared to Outplayed, which has gone very standard, very safe. Something that everybody knows, and any team could really pick up that composition and play well with.
Here's what I see. As far as the Pup is concerned, they have the Quark over there as well. So what Pup can do, get in the back line, get on Zrave, get on whoever's playing the Grimo, and really punish them with that invisibility, get behind the enemy lines, and do a tremendous amount of damage, and then get right back out again. I would like to see the Pup player hold the dash for an escape, and then get back to the Quark, heal back up again once you've taken the damage in the front line, and then go invisible once again, wash, rinse, repeat.
So, all right, it looks like we are loading in here, so let's get ready for that. And
yeah, Legion taking the role of firepower once again on the Pup. I would actually describe Pup as more of a brawler, a bruiser Freelancer. He's not exactly a firepower. He does tremendous damage, but he is a melee character. So he's kind of like a brawler, a barroom brawler, I guess.
Yeah,
but of course.
Well, I would think that Legion would have a much easier time transitioning from Titus to Pup than he would from Titus to Nick. So he's probably going to have a little bit better time playing this Lancer instead. Yeah,
there's no doubt about it. And I like the fact that Zrave fixed up that banner icon there to match the rest of the team. Last game, it didn't quite get it done, but we have two teams of matching banners. I love it. So yeah, we're going to have the Outplayed team over on the blue side. Malediction, Zrave, Baby Million, Road, the team captain. Over on the other side is Freelancer United Nation with Dizzy, Coxie, Legion, and Inepsy over there. So, man, these early couple of rounds on Cloudspire are really, really stressful, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially you never know which side the other team is going to go. Looks like Outplayed is going for a very spread out, literally sending two people to one side, Baby to the center and Mal to the other side, whereas we've got Fun is kind of all piling onto one side.
Yeah, it looks like that Outplayed is taking a gamble and just saying calculated risk time. Malediction is going to go off by himself. Baby Millie's going to stay in the middle and just see what happens.
There are lots of pokes going out. Looks like nobody's going to be finding each other today. Zrave just going to build up a little energy for themselves. And Baby Millie does snag that might. But yeah, well, like you said, Malediction is over there all by himself, but still no vision for anybody yet.
Yeah, Malediction has no idea that they're this close, and nobody does for Outplayed's team. He is on an island right now. This is super, super dangerous and super risky. If they find Malediction right now, they're going to know just by the fact that they don't see anybody else, he's off by his own.
All right, looks like Inepsi building up some energy with his team there. Dizzy is going to throw a trap out to the other side and do a shot there, just hoping to maybe catch somebody. It's like just a lot of preparation here for the time that they actually meet, which looks like they finally have some vision on Malediction with the last known indicator. Of course, they don't know exactly how far up he is. Baby Millie is in complete vision, though.
Yeah, the only ones that can see one another is Dizzy and Baby Millie, except for, of course, their team knows as well where the other is. But yeah, they found Malediction. Surprisingly, Coxie is not even in vision. He's last known indicator only.
There goes Baby throwing a dagger on the Dizzy, who's going to respond with a shot to him just straight on. Zrave is throwing out an Ion Cloud, doesn't catch anybody, but hoping someone will walk through it, and a couple mines go out as well. Looks like they walk right around it, though.
Yeah, they want to collapse on Baby Millie now, looks like, and protect Dizzy, that very important Lockwood player from last game who performed admirably even through that crushing loss there. So Road is up front along with Baby Millie right out in the open there. So a little bit dangerous from him. I would expect Coxie to really turn and start chasing Road down now.
Right, looks like here we go, a little bit of action here. Baby Millie getting a 3-man weaken with his shout, as well as a 4-man dash, popping that dagger onto Dizzy. Huge damage happening there. Coxie is going to reply with a swipe. Looks like the whole team is going to just act on Baby Millie here, including walking him so he cannot get away. Dizzy does miss his bounce shot, though, because of the dash. But here comes the Gray Drone, moving in for a 4-man hit. Looks like just all sorts of damage going to the entire team of Fun that turn.
Baby Millie just screams, "I'll take the damage to you," and just dashes into all 4 members. Amazing amounts of damage, amazing pressure now that he has placed on Fun to get away from him. My goodness. And they're all lined up once more for just a basic attack from Baby Millie. He's going to take a tremendous amount of damage as well. But how can you turn down a triple basic attack from Titus?
All right, here we go with that overcharge coming from Inepsi. Looks like he's focusing on the Dizzy there, and a double dart hitting both Coxie and Legion there. Dizzy is going to dash out of the damage that's about to come. Mal with a double mine, only one hitting Inepsi, the other missing there. And then Zrave doing some damage to Coxie and healing up Mal a little bit. And here comes the damage on the Baby Millie. It is all weakened, though. He does respond with a double hit back onto Legion and Inepsi, and Coxie's going to take his hit onto Road, who then shoots him in the face.
I understand what Dizzy did, but you've got the Quark Tether on you, my friend. Stand and deliver. You're 3v1 versus a frontliner. He cannot hurt you that much. Stay and fight. You can't dash out in that situation. Help your team. They did run Baby Millie off, but he's still around half HP, not in any big-time trouble. The one that's in trouble right now is Road and Coxie. Coxie's off by his own. Now he's in a 1v3 situation, but he's taking damage already.
All the dashes happening this time. Looks like 2 on the Mal from both Inepsi and Coxie, and Legion just dashed towards Dizzy to get out of the damage area. And here comes Baby with his ultimate, not catching a single person. And Zrave with a little touch up to finish the round off. Oh wait, here we go. Malediction with the big one. Does catch Dizzy and knocks it back.
Well, definitely the damage trade goes in favor of Fun for this round entirely. Coxie gets out of the way of the Road basic attack and the Baby Millie Titus ultimate to stay alive and stay at the health that he started the turn with. Going into turn number 8 now, Dizzy again in a very good position. Got thrown around, but is still full HP. He needs to get more aggressive unless NFC plans on switching that tether out.
And there goes that big heal on the Malediction. And Nepsi also doing his Radiate to touch Dizzy back up, although he is at full health. And Baby doing a dash in onto a Nepsi and a Coaxie there, while Malediction gets out of town with that bombing run. A bounce shot onto Road coming from Dizzy. Road also going to take a shot at Coaxie there, leaving him at only 48 health.
Yeah, and FC maybe just wanted to get that ultimate this turn to help Legion and Coaxie, but really, if you're not running Mighty Quark, why do you sit on a full health target if you're not going to give a Might every single turn when you have two people that need you right here and right now? Switch the tether out, in my opinion, right now to probably Coxie, because he's out in the open and he's the frontliner, and make that Rask invincible.
Yeah, there goes Legion going invisible. And yeah, he still stays tethered there, but here comes the ultimate, getting everybody topped off a little bit. Baby is going to throw that double dagger onto Legion and an FC, and Dizzy with a nice bounce shot hits Baby Millie in the face, but here comes the gray ultimate, does catch an FC in it. And there goes the box popping the dagger. Very nice combo as he's now stuck in the Aurora box there. And here comes Malediction with a couple mines, one for Coaxie, the other for Legion if he walks that way. And a knockback on the Baby Millie keeps him locked in place for next turn.
Oh my
man,
goodness.
My goodness.
A three-person voltaic cage coming out of Road just because they walked through it. That was a beautiful placement on his part because they didn't have vision on where he was. They had no clue that that ult was coming out this turn unless they've been watching the last two turns on his energy gain, which honestly most people do not. At this high level, you kind of need to start doing that, but they didn't see it coming and they paid for it dearly. Now they have a problem. They've got two people stuck in the voltaic cage. The one outside is super low.
And not to mention they are all stuck on that ion cloud as well. So a trap coming out from Dizzy, a shout from Baby Millie to weaken those around him, and everybody catalysts all together. A bounce shot from Dizzy not hitting anybody, and the drone from Road only catching Inepsi, taking him down quite low. Kochi does use his ultimate, though, taking Baby Millie quite low as well.
Yeah, Dizzy and Inepsi staying there. That was synchronized catalysting if I ever saw it in my life. Very well done by both teams, but Coxie kind of predicts that, probably just tried to get Road and avoid damage from Baby Millie, but ends up catching both of them in that Rask ultimate, but had to use the catalyst to do it. Does have his dash, all his cooldowns get reset. Legion is in a good spot here, but he is very, very low. He could ult this turn, but I don't know if he really wants to.
And here goes the double darts on the Legion and Coxie. We've got an Epsi doing a charge up on Dizzy there. And there goes the ultimate coming from Legion, only catching Road because Baby decided to dash out there. Road also going to shoot Coxie. And here comes Rave with his ultimate, healing up pretty much everybody on his team and doing some damage to Legion there. Malediction is going to take a shot onto Inepsi and Dizzy there, and a bounce shot from Dizzy not going to quite catch enough distance to hit Zrave.
Couple of really awesome things happened that turn. Legion made the call to ultimate, so he wasn't going to try to get out of there and avoid damage. Coxie dove in, dashed in front of, between Legion and Road, and body blocked that basic attack that would certainly have got Legion to the point where he would have to get out this turn. Now he can kind of stand and fight one more turn, and he's got the tools he needs to do it.
And here comes Rave with that big heal for Road, taking him up 40 health. And Epsi continuing to stay tethered to Dizzy, who now ultimates, hitting both Road and Zrave. Zrave also going to catch a dash from Dizzy. I'm sorry, Legion. And here comes Malediction with a couple mines that missed because of all the dashes that just happened. And looks like Road did a double move out of there, but didn't quite get far enough away.
Yeah, now Road is not really in as bad of a position as Legion is. Now I know Rask is standing right there, but Rask doesn't have the dash anymore, has the knockback, has the basic attack, but really Zrave is standing right there to help Road. Already has a lot of healing coming in this turn and next, and here comes a weaken as well.
Yeah, it looks like several second wins happening here. Legion going to do the bite onto Road there. And Road's actually going to take a shot at Coxie instead, who then cannot knock them back because of that unstoppable that they both got.
Yeah, and with Malediction using the big bang there to knock Legion and Coxie around, they cannot give chase anymore. So, and they really honestly don't want to at this point. They're getting super low HP versus people that are increasing their health every single turn. And of course, Zrave is going to have that heal up in another couple of turns anyway.
Yeah, it looks like Legion is going to do that dash back to get out of damage range. And Road is going to taunt the shot, but it now misses because of that dash. Zrave also throwing out the Iron Cloud. It does not hit anybody. A light him up from Dizzy does catch Zrave, but no one else. And here comes Malediction with the ultimate. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! The double kill just happened, and Coxie is in no position to be doing anything for at least a couple turns now.
Now notice what happened there. Legion had no chance of survival that turn. None. If he stays where he is, he dies. If he goes towards the enemy team with a dash towards them, which I don't even think he had vision, he dies. If he dashes to his allies over in the corner, Malediction ults them with Grimo, he dies. No win situation if I've ever seen one.
And there goes Rave, just doing a little bit of damage to Dizzy, but also popping a dagger. Dizzy gonna take a shot to the face, but through cover only does 21. Malediction launches a couple mines out to Coxie, and here comes the drone to finish the job. Coxie go down. It is now 3-0 for Outplayed.
Shades of game number one. Outplayed got those first kills down and just kept rolling from there. A little bit different. They got a single kill, then a double kill in game one. Now they get a double kill and a single kill game two. The result is the same, a big lead for them. Now, what needs to happen now is, I mean, pretty much Dizzy is on his own. So she's got to get out of there immediately. I mean, it's a nice matchup one-on-one versus Zrave's support, but here comes Baby Millie.
Yeah, Baby Millie dashes into it. Zrave healed themselves, which is going to cause a knockback on the Lockwood. Dizzy's going to shoot Baby Millie in the face because he was going for the bounce. It doesn't even hit Zrave and is now locked back, stuck where he is.
4 turns remaining.
Dizzy has dash, has catalyst to get away available as well. So 2 outs here, about halfway to that ultimate, which is another dash if necessary. But once he starts using some of these to get away, it's just going to be a snowball effect. They've completely surrounded him. Now they have his teammates respawning, but can they get there in time?
Looks like Baby Millie going to weaken Dizzy there, and an Epsi going to attach that tether to Dizzy, who then, like, he's dashing out of the range there, but shouldn't be too much of an issue. Baby Millie does do his ultimate, only catches an Epsi for 35 though. Malediction then going to add onto it with the Splort. And a couple mines launching out, trying to figure out where Dizzy might have gone to. It looks like a shot from Road also going to miss because of the dash.
So there, Road was the only one that said, okay, I'll shoot where he is. He's definitely going to get out of here, but just in case, I'm going to shoot there. Everybody else covers all the other spots except for the one that he went to. The slow from Titus ultimate from Baby Millie actually stops Inepsi from staying in range of Dizzy here and keeping the tether active. Now Inepsi is in a world of hurt, has the dash to get away, and is definitely going to have to use it this turn.
And here comes Rave with another heal going on to Baby Millie this time for a big 40. All sorts of dashes coming out this time. Looks like Zrave catches one from Legion. Inepsi reattaches themselves to Dizzy, and Coxie moves in on Baby Millie, who also catches a bounce shot from Dizzy. Malediction launching out a couple of binds, just leaving them where they are. Of course, Coxie does catch a knockback because of that heal from Zrave.
2 turns remaining.
Now, notice what Fun is trying to do here. They're trying to pick on the low health targets now, Baby Millie and Zrave, but now the problem is Road on Gray has ultimate. Malediction is off on the wings with Grim Malicious, just raining down mines constantly, turn after turn. They've got to get these 3 kills back. We're at turn 19 coming up here. 2 turns left to make up 3 kills.
Yeah, and of course, Baby Millie going to dash on Legion and get out of the way of the main amount of damage he was about to take. And there goes the ultimate coming in from Road, as well as from Coxie there, which would have gone right on to Baby Millie, but he got out of the damage range. And Nepti does still attach a tether to him, and Dizzy's bounce shot still gets him for the kill. Legion then takes a shot onto Zrave, who's going to throw out the ultimate, healing Baby Millie and himself back up. Baby Millie brought back from the dead, and then killed again by Coxie, who then gets knocked back through that ultimate.
That's another 2-man Voltaic Cage. He had 3 the first time, now 2. The only reason an FC didn't go through that is there's a wall that stands between him and going further. Legion now has the ultimate. Zrave still has the Catadash, so can get away from here. Does Legion hold on to this big-time pup ultimate that he might just whiff here on the last turn of the game? I don't think he holds it. I think he's got to go for it.
Alright, there goes an Epsi with the ultimate there, just trying to make sure nobody else dies. It is the final round. There is not really a whole lot of ways that they would be able to finish this out, especially with all the catalysts that just happened. So it looks like they are throwing out the good games.
Victory.
Yeah, so, man, Outplayed taking that series 2-0, a 3-1 victory in game number 2 against Freelancer United Nation, or Fun as we like to lovingly call them. Man, the stats tell the story. Looking at this in-game screen, I can just tell you who won just by looking at that. I don't need to see any other information. And FC did rather well with the healing on the Quark, but did die. Legion was completely ineffective on the pup, didn't do very much damage. Coxie died once, but took 525 worth of damage. And then Dizzy, of course, the only member not to die, once again had respectable numbers. Consistency. Dizzy's got it. That's the one that is their star player for today. Even through the losses, I really like what he did. But on the other side of things, Outplayed, they shined rather well. Only one person going down, and that was the frontliner, Baby Millie, taking 438 damage to do it, which is tremendous amount of damage. Zrave having a really big part in that. Obviously, Malediction and Road doing work as the firepowers, really getting in there, doing the damage, over 400 for both of them, and Malediction only taking 88 damage all game long.
Well, and, here's the thing, is, Inepsi had huge healing numbers, but, it's also still counting overheal, so I think he really should have changed his tether at least twice during that game. He stayed attached to Dizzy pretty much the entire game, leaving Coxie and Legion, who both do have self-sustain, but it wasn't quite enough to keep him alive with the damage numbers that you saw coming out of the entire Outplayed team. Even Zrave was, putting out 213 damage as Aurora.
Yeah, there's no question about it. It almost looked like they were trying to mimic what Team Trash likes to do with the Quark, is just stick them on somebody and stay there the whole game. The problem is their other 2 members were falling too far down too fast, and they couldn't keep up the positioning, and they were basically melee freelancers with the Rask and the Pup. They had to be in the face of the enemy team. So it was a little bit of a different story, had to be a little bit of a different strategy with the Quark this time. Can't just sit on somebody. Like you pointed out just now, I did during the match, is really expecting an FC to switch up that tether to somebody who could absolutely use it instead of overhealing the guy who was full health time after time after time again. I think that was maybe a reason for the downfall. But the other thing was kind of the strange pup pick. It didn't work out for him. It was a mistake in the end. But, I mean, they're in there, man. They're in the 3rd, 4th place game coming up very, very soon. And we're going to see another showdown in the finals between Team Trash and Team Outplayed.
So, all right, and looks like we have Captain Road coming in here for the interview. So let's go ahead and bring him on down. Road, how are you doing, sir? Congratulations on the win.
Thanks.
Yeah, definitely well done. I mean, the first matchup, I wanted to point out your numbers. Basically 601 damage on Blackburn. I haven't seen you play Blackburn in competitive play that I can recall. It may have happened, it just slipped my mind, but where does that pick come from in that situation, and why did you choose that game to do it?
Let's see. There's no specific reason for it, really. I just picked it because I felt like it.
Okay, fair enough. So, I mean, on the enemy side of things, did you have any specific plan going in as a team as far as a strategy to go against Fun, or was it just another day at the office? What was going on with you guys leading into this match?
Against Fun. Against Fun, we did actually have a plan. Have some sort of plan against Fun. And I gotta say, it's working out. You see the Celeste bands? Yeah, that was it.
Really? So the Celeste band was like totally targeted at them. Did you expect the Asana band coming out of their side?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so just I mean, read the draft phase like a book. Two very solid victories here. Very one-sided matchups. Again, congratulations, Septimus. What do you have for him?
Well, basically, there was a couple points in there in the first game, specifically probably the first 7 or so turns, where Fun was actually kind of looked like they were starting to take an upper hand on you guys. Of course, you guys turned it around, but was there any point in there where things weren't quite going to the plan that it sounds like you laid out?
No, not really.
No, just all perfectly according to plan, huh?
Yeah, seems like it.
One of the conversation topics with your team is you like to switch out those supports. You like to switch out, Ash Jackie Malediction most of the time, and of course Etheria and Zrave switch out a lot. Are we going to see any more of this coming in for the finals when you go up against Team Trash? Who's the lineup going to be? Obviously, I don't want you to tell me that, but are we going to see any interesting switch ups with the roster?
Well, that's pretty much telling you the answer. That's pretty much telling you the lineup for the finals.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So, all right. I've completely lost myself after that bungling of a question. My apologies. So, going back to the past, you guys from season 1's tournament came in the number 2 seed once again. Trash's number 1 seed. You both ended up in the finals. Trash took it. You guys took second place last season.
Yeah.
Are you expecting the same result here? And are you proud of yourselves for staying this consistent?
For staying this consistent, yeah, definitely. And how could you expect us to just expect the same thing like last season? That's kind of mean.
I'm asking you, what do you think is what are your chances going into Team Trash here in the finals?
I don't know. Well, you're just gonna have to see.
All right, fair enough. Is there anything you'd like to say to those watching at home or at the Razor store before we let you go?
Yeah, thanks for the support, I guess. Thanks for the GGs and the compliments, I guess. Okay. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you so much, Road. Good luck and congratulations on reaching the finals. Good luck when you get there.
Thanks. Yeah.